The Japanese game developer Tango Gameworks is back at it again following their hit games Evil Within and Evil Within 2 with supernatural action-adventure thriller Ghostwire Tokyo. The game has a unique backstory, an unusual style of combat, and absolutely epic graphics. So what's this game all about and when will it be released? Keep watching to find out.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away a PS5 with a copy of NBA 2K22 and Madden 22. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
First, what is the game about? Previous trailers for Ghostwire Tokyo have been mysterious to say the least. But now that Sony has offered an extended view into the gameplay in a new livestream special trailer, critics and fans are buzzing with excitement. The game is set in a spooky and atmospherically stormy alternate version of Tokyo, Japan. The entire population of the city has mysteriously disappeared. But where did everyone go? It's up to you to find out if you can stay alive, that is. Players wake up on an abandoned city streets in the neighborhood of Shibuya as Aikido, a common Japanese man who we soon discover has unusual supernatural powers. Although at first everything about him seems ordinary, we find out that Aikido was possessed by a spirit named KK, which led to him developing powers based on the elements of earth, wind, fire, and water. The design team created Aikido to look like an everyday citizen of Tokyo, to emphasize the aspect of the story where an ordinary city person is facing off against all these crazy supernatural forces and tasked with finding out the truth behind the mystery. But to keep him from blending in with everyone else, they chose the colors of his clothes to be a little bit lighter than usual, such as beige jeans rather than blue. Kido shares a goal in common with his possessor KK, which is to find the truth behind the vanishing, the event the game is based on in which everyone living in Tokyo suddenly disappears. In the trailer, it appears as though the focus of the gameplay is on the unique system of supernatural first-person style combat, but we do also see Aikido exploring the city, following the vicious-looking supernatural entities as they travel over the roofs of the haunted urban landscape. But who are these supernatural entities? After their horror success with Evil Within 2 a few years ago, Tango Gameworks wanted to try something completely different. While at first glance the game may seem pretty scary, the darker characters in the game are actually meant to represent figures from historical Japanese folklore and to provoke people who are playing the game around the world to think about how it would be if they experienced these supernatural entities and spirits in their everyday lives as they go about their day at work, home, and while running errands on the city streets. In Japanese culture, yokai are spiritual entities who are not automatically good or bad. Sometimes these entities explain natural phenomena such as weather. One traditional yokai is described as being like a weasel with sharp claws that Japanese parents use to explain to their children how the wind may scratch their skin if they don't wear adequate outerwear in cold and windy weather. In the game, the more graphically nightmarish entities are called visitors, the Japanese word directly translating to being that comes from another world. The villains of Ghostwire Tokyo are a variety of supernatural spirits ranging from the more traditional Japanese yokai to more modern interpretations that players may recognize from pop culture, like the Slenderman-esque faceless men in suits, monstrous figures with oversized teeth, an elegant-looking woman with giant bloody scissors, headless schoolgirls, and more. In the game, we see many different types of traditional yokai represented, including Nekomata, a cat-like yokai who acts as a merchant to buy and sell to players. We also see Uchisaki Onna, an evil spirit who's portrayed as a beautiful girl wearing a mask over her face to hide disfiguring scars. Then there are the Nopura Bo in the game called Rainwalkers. Traditional Japanese culture, the Nopura Bo are known for only scaring. In the game, when you come across a rainwalker, you will be immediately attacked. These yokai are human-like ghosts with business clothing and no face. In Japanese culture, people are already familiar with the yokai, but the creative team wanted to add a modern twist so that players anywhere in the world would recognize the concept and make the game feel more realistic. The creators have said that the game's strong roots in urban folklore points to the things that people are most universally scared of, and some something that will draw together an audience of players who are from vastly different locations and cultures. So how do you defeat them? Aikido has a bow and arrow, which in Japanese culture are said to purify evil and are often found in shrines. The game's creators tried to craft the bow to look traditional rather than like a modern competition bow. They used old paintings and traditional murals to model the weaponry after. But because Aikido's enemies are supernatural forces, the biggest asset in the game to combat them is not a physical weapon, but rather the supernatural process of ethereal weaving. The combat director for Ghostwire Tokyo describes ethereal weaving as karate meets magic. In order to defeat the supernatural visitors, you'll need to learn this supernatural process that will strip the demons of their powers. In addition to the enemy characters that we'll encounter throughout the game, you'll also undergo moments of distorted reality and patches of fog imbued with a dark energy that will drain Aikido's health. The dark clouds of fog are often hiding zones for the supernatural yokai. So how do you do ethereal weaving? Well, attacks and attack combinations are built around these elements, which Aikido can first use to stun his opponents. However, then he begins a more complex style of combat, which involves creating a tie to his opponent and leveraging their power against them. The newest trailer showcases intricate combat moves like fireballs linked to magical objects. Aikido's power can also be upgraded as he finds and frees lost souls throughout the city. Ethereal weaving incorporates several different ancient Japanese martial arts as well as ancient methods of magic and divination, and allows Aikido to cast spells with specific hand gestures. Based on the elements of earth, wind, and fire, each has a different combat action in the game. Water spells will be effective against a large number of enemies at once. Wind is most effective for a quick target attack. Fire is an explosion. The earth element is used as a defensive action to block incoming attacks. The team based the hand gestures on the elements as well to create the unique style of fighting. Not only does it look visually cool, but it's unique from a lot of horror-style combat games. Despite the ongoing paranormal attacks, the team tried to create a sense of normalcy in Shibuya so that the player feels a contrast between experiencing everyday life in Tokyo as though they lived there before the people of the city suddenly vanished, the spirits came. They also created an element to the city so that you can explore both horizontally and vertically throughout the game. And what was the inspiration behind the game? The director of the game, Kenji Kimura, has said that he was inspired by a variety of things like science fiction novels such as Reality and a Dream by Chohi Kanbayashi and Valis by Philip K. Dick, as well as the lyrics to the Tool song Numa and to Sia's Waving Goodbye. He said that he often listens to his music when he goes on long walks in nature and has made a big impression on him when he designs for games. Kimura explained that the link between these various mediums is the way they conceptualize the conscious and unconscious states of being, or life and death. He tried to bring out the same understanding of these topics in Ghostwire Tokyo. For visual inspiration, the concept artist for Ghostwire Tokyo, Kenta Muramatsu, walked around Tokyo and visited all the notable locations like temples and shrines. This provided him with ample inspiration to create the cross of traditional and modern art we see in the game. The set in the game was created to very closely resemble real-life Tokyo. Creative team narrowed down the Shibuya area of Tokyo and modeled many aspects in the game directly from real life, such as the contrast between the rows of modern apartment buildings next to a block with an ancient Japanese shrine. Finally, when will Ghostwire Tokyo be released? Right now, the game has a March 25th release date on PlayStation 5 and PC, according to Sony. For Xbox players, the game should arrive about 1 year later. This game looks like it is definitely worth the wait, and it's one of our most anticipated new releases for this year. Trailer offers an excellent sneak peek at the game so you can experience the world of Ghostwire Tokyo prior to the official game release. So there you have it, that's everything we know about the upcoming Tango Gameworks game, Ghostwire Tokyo. What do you think of this interesting mashup between traditional and modern culture? Do you prefer this style of game or a horror game like The Evil Within? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.